Hey y'all, welcome to Misty Ridge Homestead. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Today we're talking about green beans. Look at that green bean art, y'all. Isn't that just glorious? I enjoy growing green beans. They're just kind of pretty growing. These are rattlesnake beans. They're kind of purpley on the vine. They're kind of spotted. And then when you cook them, they turn green. I think there's a lot of green beans that are different colors like that, but when you cook them, they all turn green. There is something incredibly satisfying about taking something you grew in the garden and putting it on a shelf to use later. The first job, of course, is getting the beans ready to be put in the canner, washing them and snapping off the ends and breaking them into the sizes we like. And sometimes I have grandsons that'll help with that process. And sometimes I take it and sit in front of the TV with my favorite show on and a glass of iced coffee, because you guys know I love my iced coffee. And I will just sit there and break beans for a little while. I like to break ours in those little bite-sized pieces, but I'm not picky. If it fits on a fork, that's just fine. That's the perfect size for canning for us. So when I fill my jars, this is where you really start to see how much food you have. Sometimes I've grown a whole lot more than I realized. But that's one of my favorite things about preserving. A basket of beans from the garden is lovely, but when those beans are sitting in clean jars, lined up on the counter, and suddenly you see the harvest, you can see the meals, you can see November and December and January, you can see those Sunday dinners that haven't gotten here yet. That's what I think people sometimes miss about home preserving. We're not just saving vegetables. We're saving a little piece of that season. Now, y'all, you're going to see me preparing these jars and getting them ready for the canner and putting them in the canner in the process, but I'm not going to give instructions for the technical pressure canning process in this particular video, because those recommendations matter and they vary. They depend on things like jar size, altitude, canner type, and the different foods that you preserve. So if you're new to pressure canning, just use a currently tested recipe and do your own research, and don't just follow somebody on YouTube like me. But I'm just showing you how I preserve food here at Misty Ridge Homestead. But just do your own homework. Green beans are a low acid vegetable, so they do require pressure canning for shelf stable storage. Canning green beans brings back a lot of memories for me growing up. We would always go to my mama's and my nana's as a family, and we would all, grandkids and mamas and aunts and uncles, we would all get out there and pick green beans and make a day of it. And then the mamas would go in and can, and we would all play. And back in those days, we always used quart jars, and that's what we came home with a lot of. For me and James, I use pint jars because a pint jar makes just enough for our dinner for us. And if we have family over or friends and I need more, I can always just double up and use more. So I currently just can everything in the little pint jars. That way I don't have waste, or I don't have part of a jar in the refrigerator looking at it going, how long have you been there? Because that's just not any fun. I've learned over the years that preserving food isn't just about putting up as much food as you possibly can. It's about putting it up in a way and preserving it in a way that your family will actually use. And for James and me, a pint of green beans is just perfect. You know, green beans aren't exactly the most complicated I preserve around here. There's not a lot of fancy ingredients. There's no secret family recipe I have hidden. So we're certainly not reinventing the wheel here. But that's actually one of the things that I love about green beans and preserving them. They're just good, simple food. And they just, for me, taste like home. I love a home-cooked meal with green beans, which is fresh garden vegetables of any kind. But then when winter rolls around and I can walk in my pantry and grab a jar of beans that came out of my own garden, add a little bacon grease and some seasonings, and warm that up for supper, man, that's one less thing I have to buy at the grocery store, and that absolutely never gets old. Now, on day 2, like this is, of canning green beans, the romance does wear off a little bit, but it's all worth it in the wintertime. I mean, make no mistake about it. Fresh green beans out of the garden with some, fried okra and a fresh sliced tomato. Oh my goodness, there's not anything that beats that, I don't think. But having fresh green beans and fried okra in the winter, that's just delicious. It's sort of a comfort food. Once everything is filled, I wipe my jar rims with a little vinegar, and then I put on my rings and lids. And I have to say, there's something almost therapeutic about this part. Fill in the jar, wipe in the rim, add the lid, put it in the canner, repeat. It's just a nice little rhythm. Now comes the exciting part of pressure canning, waiting. There's a surprising amount of waiting involved in homesteading. Waiting for the seeds to sprout, waiting for the tomatoes to ripen, waiting for the bread to rise, waiting for the cow to have her calf, or last spring, waiting for Trixie to have her kids. Wow, that took forever. And waiting for the canner. Apparently, patience is one of the crops we're growing around here. And I'm still working on that one. I'm a hurry up and get it done now kind of girl. How about y'all? Are y'all more patient than me? I hope so. But I'm learning, living on a homestead and doing all this stuff that teaches patience over time. So I guess I'm getting better. Yeah, I think I am. So into the electric canner they go. And this is the payoff, y'all. Finished jars of green beans. And I don't care how many years you've been preserving food, seeing those jars sitting on the counter is satisfying. And then listening for that ping, ping. That may be one of my favorite sounds in the kitchen. If you can, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Every ping is basically that jar announcing, I'm good, I'm ready. And yes, I still listen for every one and I count them. Once the jars have cooled completely, I'll check the seals, remove the rings for storage, and label everything. Labeling is important, guys. That's what I'm doing here. If you don't label, you won't know when you canned it and you won't know how old it is, and that's important. Just for me, I like to use the oldest stuff first. So label everything. And then those little pints will head to the pantry. And someday this winter, I'll be standing in the kitchen trying to figure out what in the world I'm going to make for dinner. And I'll grab a jar of these lovely green beans and add some bacon grease, and dinner will be halfway figured out. And that's what all this is really about, isn't it? Not because I think everybody needs to grow every bite of food they eat, and not because buying a can of green beans at the grocery store is somehow wrong. It's not. I still do it. But I love knowing where food comes from. I love knowing I grew it, and I enjoy preserving it. It just is special. I especially love the feeding my family from what we've produced right here at home. There are hundreds of flashy things I could show you about homestead life, but honestly, sometimes homesteading looks just like this. A bowl of beans, a stack of pint jars, a pressure canner humming in the kitchen, and supper for another day. And that's a pretty good day's work here at Misty Ridge Farm. Y'all, thanks for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate you. You come back and see us next time. Y'all be blessed now.